I'm the head of product at a company called Zip. We're a buy now, pay later disruptor. My background, I came up through a technical background in the mid-90s. So was a HTML developer, front-end coder, kind of all the way up to the early 2000s. And then I made a switch into product. So I kind of was tired of just building the things, and I wanted to be the person that made the decision about what things to be building in the first place. So moved over into product, worked for some great companies. So worked for Virgin Money, which was really great. Did a stint at NAB on the Eubank launch. Went over to the US, so I took a startup idea over there and did that for about 8 years, and have recently come back to Australia. And then I worked for a startup accelerator called Blue Chili, so I got to kind of create startup after startup, and now I'm over at Zip. The best advice, I mean, everybody kind of says it, but find something that you're really passionate about. I kind of feel like you're at work for more time than you spend with your family and friends. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, it's a pretty depressing place to be. I've had jobs that I'm really passionate about. I've had jobs that I haven't really cared that much about. And I'm definitely a much better performer when I'm really passionate about what I'm doing, whether that be the industry, the people I work with, the process, the people. So I think that's super important. So everybody kind of says, well, money shouldn't matter. You've got to do what you're passionate about. But I actually read a book called Affluenza that really struck me, where it's like, you work really hard to have this nice house that you never spend time in, so you can drive to work in a car that you only commute in, to get enough money that you don't have time to spend, or you spend it trying to keep up with other people in your situation. I was like, that's right. And so I took a job with a travel company because I was like, I'll get to travel with this job. Except when you're getting half the pay, you get pretty resentful about it, because it's like, well, I could be getting paid double to do this. So for me, I think it is a consideration. It's not everything, but definitely it is definitely a factor that should be part of your career, and it's probably a bit dishonest to think that it doesn't matter. So I think work as a product manager, you can be delivering and executing like crazy, but the primary part of your job is stakeholder management and communication. And if you're not doing that part of it, there's no amount of execution and delivery that you can do that makes people go, wow, you did an excellent job. I think it's at least kind of 50-60% stakeholder management and communication. So delivery is not enough. Like, I always thought that the product just speaks for itself and the work should speak for itself, but I wish I knew earlier that is not the case. I was always like, I hate the people that are all bullshit and they're out there and like, I did this and I did that. But it is actually an important part of the job, because if people don't know what you're producing, why are you even producing it in the first place? So I wish I knew that one a little earlier. I don't know that I've necessarily made any mistakes. I've taken some missteps, but I think that's also part of learning. I've taken on roles that I thought would be kind of stepping stoning me, but I didn't necessarily think about the full path. I just kind of thought, oh, that next thing looks interesting. And sometimes that's worked out, sometimes it hasn't. I'm kind of the generation of girl power, women can do everything, we can have it all. And I was really, really shocked when we can't. And that shouldn't come as any surprise to anyone, but kind of growing up with this whole second wave feminism, it's like, of course we can do it all. And the world just kind of isn't there yet. I think we can do it all, but society doesn't necessarily think so, and we're not necessarily supported in that. So, and it's not necessarily a mistake, but it was more a shock to me about when it happens to your own career. You're like, whoa, I thought just that happened to other people and it wouldn't happen to me. So not a mistake, because I wouldn't take it back, but it was definitely a surprise. Luck and curiosity. So I've been really, really lucky. I got into the internet in very early days. So I started working in '95 in technology. So it was small enough. Being a woman in technology actually helped me a lot. I'm sure it's hindered me along the way, but it helped me a lot too. I've been really lucky that I've been kind of offered a lot of really great opportunities, and it's probably just curiosity in that I've been open to a lot of opportunities. So my career path has not necessarily been very linear and kind of followed a particular path. But luck has played a huge part in it. There's been lots of people who have given me some amazing chances. I've had a couple of people who are like, hey, do you want to come start a startup, or do you want to come work with me over here? So, has been a huge, huge part of my career. but also that curiosity to not just say, well, I'm going to go from here to here to here because that's the way to do it. It's following your curiosity into kind of industries that get your interest, or to work with people that you find particularly interesting, and just being really open to, I guess, every experience.